We did a little bit. I mean, I talked about why.
Test. All right, you guys can hear me?
Already? We did a little bit. I mean, I talked about why.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, all right.
All right, so the stream is live.
Let me share.
I'm going to go live to Facebook too.
I just think it's interesting that they just took so long to sort of.
Democrats are sitting there playing I mean, it would be very, very Democrat of what's his face, Merrick Garland, to have just sat on that because he's so wedded to tradition and norms. We're like.
But even before that,
only-
Congress, Republicans in Congress were pushing for the release, and Democrats were silent. And now they've joined. Now they've joined on the petition and all of that. But
All right, so
Okay,
Facebook's
okay.
live too.
All right.
So if you guys want to share, otherwise I will. I'll start the stream.
Boop, boop, sharing.
I tried. But
Good job.
from my-
It was convincing.
Was it?
Yeah, it actually.
Shared.
The big sound effect sold it. That's really what got me there. All right, starting the show.
All right.
Support for Wrong About Everything comes from Minnesota's credit unions. Credit unions are locally based, member-owned financial cooperatives that return earnings to members through higher savings rates, lower loan rates, and reduced fees. Visit mncun.org for more information.
And we are back for another episode of Wrong About Everything. I am former Republican Senate Majority Leader Amy Koch.
I am Democratic strategist and the Puerto Rican heat, Javier Murillo.
And we are
Wrong
About Everything.
Just you and me, eh?
Just you and I.
Again, yes.
That's actually Clint's song.
That's whose song?
That's one of the songs I sing to Clint sometimes.
Oh, come on.
So, hi, Clint.
Settle down. Settle down.
You got to get a Clint name counter.
Settle
Yeah.
down. Yes, of course, yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, so it's just you and I.
It's just
here
it's
in
just yeah.
Minnesota Credit Union Network Studios.
Yes.
I've been out for a couple weeks.
Yes,
I've
you
had
have.
stuff- I know.
Yeah,
I've had-
last week it was just Brian and me. Now it's just you and me.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, listeners, tell us what you think of two-person shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it'll be you and I this week.
Yeah,
and that's not
I
a
mean,
fair.
Tell us what you think, and also which pairing you like best.
So vicious.
No, that's good. That's good.
good. All right.
Yeah. Use
Yeah,
social
I'm gonna do
media,
one, too.
the Patreon, whatever you want to let us know. Let us know.
Love it.
How do you feel about the two people format? And which pairing
And
do
which
you like
pairing
best?
do you like best? All right. Well, yes, as we mentioned, we're Minnesota Credit Union Network Studio. Thank you so much to our wonderful partners, the credit unions, and the Tranche Master General, Ryan Smith. We are always grateful for your support. We also want to thank our producer, Gabe Noah. If you are interested in getting together a podcast for your organization, your business, or maybe you just feel like you got things to say, you should get a hold of Gabe at NBC Studios and talk about what he could do for you.
Wow, that was the most thorough commercial you've ever given.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're very welcome. I know it's usually Brian leading this. So you can go to our website, wrongaboutEverything-podcast.com, or our YouTube channel. Hit the like button. We are someday going to have our social medias together. And what I would also like to talk about is Bradshaw and Bryant.
Yeah. Do you know who might need Bradshaw and Bryant?
Well, she could have used Bradshaw and Bryant.
Or
do you have more?
I was thinking of, we're going to be covering federal and Minnesota scandals, so either one.
Honestly, everybody could use Bradshaw and Bryant.
Everyone
right?
can hire Bradshaw and Bryant.
Their entire team of attorneys and staff are dedicated to providing the legal advice you need, combined with the service and personal attention you deserve.
Yeah.
If you have questions on how they can assist you with a personal injury, wrongful death, or criminal defense matter,
Say anything from being on a sex island to being a cat burglar.
To be a cat
Anything
burglar.
else. The gamut.
Do not hesitate to contact them. Consultations are free. Contact them at 1-800-770-7008 or just go to minnesotapersonalinjury.com and get the best,
There you go.
not the rest. Which
Yep.
some people, I'm looking at
Unless
you,
you're a snitch.
Mitchell.
Unless you're a snitch.
No snitches.
No snitches.
Does Mitchell snitching on herself immediately in the house count, though? Would that,
Right.
would that
She's-
preclude her?
I'm not good at this.
Yeah.
Clearly, I'm not good at this.
Yeah.
No, you are not. All right. Well, there's so much.
Lord, there's
news.
breaking news on while we were driving to the podcast. The Wall Street Journal reports that that back in I want to say in May that Attorney General Pam Bondi told Donald Trump that his name appeared in the Justice Department files related to financier Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted sex offender who died in prison. That's from Reuters. And then and also today, let's just name all the things.
Yeah. So okay.
Mike Johnson made it very clear that he'd rather the representative democracy not work. Sent the representatives home
Then talk
rather
about Epstein.
than allow a vote on whether or not to release the Epstein files.
So you talked. So there's a petition. It is a bipartisan move.
Discharge
Right. So it's
petition.
Massey and
Ro Khanna started.
Yep.
So every Democrat is on it, and there's an increasing number of Republicans, which is I
I
think
would
what then
sign
got-
on it
Yeah.
right away.
I mean,
by the way.
I mean, at this point, what's anyone got to lose?
Well, and what they're asking for is the FBI files, and this
Yeah.
should be clear to you because some other news is that a Florida grand jury files around this in Florida that the Trump administration had asked to be released, that was denied. So the release of those,
as was to be expected,
But
because
those are
grand
not-
jury testimony is secret.
these are not the Epstein files that we're talking about,
No.
which are the FBI, Pam Bondi, the list, the names. Who is on that list, which we were promised.
Yeah.
Remember, Attorney General Pam Bondi said, that list is on my desk. and frankly, it was a massive campaign issue for the Trump folks.
And
it was brought up a lot.
and particularly important to a lot of the latecomers to MAGA, guys from the manosphere, like comedians and other podcasters who were not originally MAGA, and who have been on fire. Like my YouTube algorithm is now super manosphere because I watch some Epstein stuff, and so now I get all kinds of Epstein stuff, and and the bros are pissed and mocking the president, but yeah. So let's start with so this
Because you touched on it last week and I was not here. So
Yeah.
why don't you give a little
yeah. So
rundown for folks?
it's a little
Because there's so much going on.
It's another week we're talking about this, and they are in the delay in sending members of Congress home a day early, is their hope that by the time next month they come back, that people will not have
Kind of forgotten
talking
about
about this.
Because the petition could still be brought up when they come back in September.
Yeah, no, I think there's the way those work that there's a certain number of days, by a certain number of days, then it brings a bill to the floor without automatically without otherwise the speaker can decide what gets voted on and what not. But a discharge petition, and said this last week, but I don't know if it's a sign of the apocalypse, a good thing or a bad thing, but I guess we finally have broad bipartisan agreement on something.
Well, we do. In fact, there's just a new poll that has been released by Quinnipiac that shows Republicans, and this is Republicans polled, 40% of Republicans approve of Mr. Trump's handling of the release of the files on Mr. Epstein, but more than a third of them, over 36%, more than a third, disapprove. This is not nationally. This is not Democrats and Republicans. This is Republicans only. So that is probably one of the largest intra-party breaks that Trump has had. This is really dogging his administration. And now it's going to dog our friend Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson.
And Gabe has a clip. Should we play the clip so people can see? Because this is something. When he's asked about, why they're breaking early and what's going on.
Yeah. Gabe, you ready?
All right. Yep. Here we go. Just
Okay.
1 second.
And obviously, we've seen the conservatives shut down the House floor routinely. You saw that you had to pull the rule because of fear of Epstein votes.
No, we don't have any fear. No,
I mean,
hold on.
good
No,
term.
Reese, no. There's
I mean,
no fear
that
here.
is- I mean,
No, there's
y'all
no
don't wanna
fear.
take it.
There's no fear. We're not going to allow the Democrats to use this as a political cut. He's not afraid at all.
He's not. He didn't sound afraid. His cheeks are particularly rosy. It's like
Three times he told us he was not afraid. So there it is.
I think he
Case
was
closed.
I think he was at Pete Hegseth's makeup room. Like
No.
his cheeks are very rosy.
Matt
Or
Gates. Remember
either
Matt
that or
Gates
he's
went from-
peaked.
Yeah, well, 2/3 of Americans overall disapprove of the Trump administration's handling of the case.
Yeah.
It's almost like there's so many just like everyday Americans that saw what went on with Epstein. They know it is just like the grossest, right? It's the super rich, it's the super powerful doing terrible things that so many of the rich and powerful knew about. And Epstein dies in prison, and he had one accomplice. And that's it. And the
Just
whole thing.
one.
And the whole list, all the people that participated, all the people at the parties, all the people on his horrible island.
Including Prince Andrew, for example.
Including
who
Bill
was
Clinton,
directly tied
former
by,
President Bill Clinton.
who was directly tied by a woman who was a child at the time, had directly accused Prince Andrew of sexual assault.
He's obviously going to prison as well. No, he's not.
No, he's in
just
Balmoral.
Sitting
hell.
pretty in Balmoral. And so this is like, I get it. It infuriates me. It infuriates everyday Americans. And they want to know. And they know that there are these files and that somebody knows. And, the president gained a lot of support by saying, and Republicans have gained a lot of support by saying, we're going to release this, folks. You're going to know. We're not going to protect people.
Right.
We're going to have justice for these children. We're going to have justice.
Yeah.
And now, well, we're going to have a recess and then we'll think about it. We're not afraid. But We're not going to have a political cudgel.
Yeah. I mean, and I said this last week, but bears repeating it, right, is that I will admit that this became one of those things that in a very polarized environment, the fact that the right wing was so obsessed with Epstein, I just was like, I just didn't think.
Democrats, what were you doing? Did you know it was going to be a political wedge for the Republicans here? I'm just giving another polling before we talk. Nearly 90% of Americans, so 2/3 disapprove of his handling of it. So there's still some folks that are supporting the president saying, well, maybe don't release him. Because what they're saying also, we should say, is they're saying there are innocent folks, including people that were in front of the grand jury that testified against that their identity was promised to be protected and would not if these files were opened.
Right.
So they're saying they're protecting the innocent is the argument.
And the bill that they wrote specifically says that any sexual material that includes children would not be released, and it basically offers protection for the witnesses.
90% of Americans, including 83% of Republicans, think that the Department of Justice should release all the information they have on the case against Epstein. So where were the Democrats? I mean, now they are on board because they see what is happening and they see this political football that the Trump administration is dealing with. But where were you?
So thanks for asking.
Yeah, thanks.
Because
this is you disagree with this too. 90% of Americans do.
Yeah, because
I think it should be released.
Yeah, I think it should be released. And also, think about the theory that Donald Trump has put out there that Barack Obama, who was president before Epstein was arrested the second time, and he got the sweetheart deal, and that he had the foresight to forge all those papers and insert Donald Trump into the files, and that Jim Comey, that guy who just is notoriously pro-Democrat, that's why he, 11 days before the election, announced a reopening of investigation of Hillary Clinton because he's very pro-Democrat. That these people all had the foresight to manufacture all these documents. Now, and then Joe Biden was president for 4 years, and we just sat on it.
You did.
Yeah, we just
up
sat
with
on it. Yeah, no, I mean, we're not those masterminds. That's what I'm saying.
But also, obviously, other people are being protected, and that's what I think infuriates so many people.
Yeah.
Is both sides are now like, we can't do this, we can't do this, and why? You have to presume that the rich and powerful have their friends on these lists. You have to presume.
Or if it's correct that Jeffrey Epstein was in some way involved with espionage on behalf of whatever country, who knows? That there's a lot of classified, that there may be like that if this whole thing, right, like the thing that is super weird about Epstein's life, in addition to all his crimes that we know of, is that there is no clear explanation for how he became as rich as he did. No one knows.
No, that's right.
There is no clear explanation.
There's no
for that.
income. There's no business.
There's no income. There's like he was a financial advisor to a few rich people. Well, you don't get that rich,
right?
Like you don't get like
island rich.
Like buy your own island rich. Like yeah, no, I grew up in the Caribbean. Those islands are not just given away. Yeah. So who knows why people are being protected? But they were being protected. And now we know from the Wall Street Journal that Pam Bondi. So in this past week, Dick Durbin said that his office received information from credible sources within the FBI that Kash Patel's FBI, that at one point in this last year, they put up to 1,000 FBI agents on the case to read through all of the mountains and mountains of documents and to flag all notices, all moments when Donald Trump is mentioned. Now, as I said last week, and we'll never tire of saying now, there is no politician in the world more connected to Jeffrey Epstein than Donald Trump. Like in very public ways. He praised him in magazines. He was like, and apparently sent him like bawdy Christmas birthday cards for his 50th birthday. Amy, you didn't get me anything that nice for my 50th birthday.
Well, certainly nothing bawdy. I just got you a nice card. I believe it was a croissant.
I think it was a normal card.
It was just a normal.
You did not use your signature for pubic hair.
No, it's so strange.
Wow.
I've been watching this and just thinking like, why did the Trump administration push so hard or did they here's the deal. Did those thousands of agents just find nothing?
No.
Is that what's really happening here? Because why would you push so hard? Why would you insist? Why would you say that list is on my desk?
I think it's pretty clear that the answer is not that they found nothing. Like you don't fight this hard because they found nothing. I mean, but just listen, I am of the opinion, have been for a long time, that Donald Trump is a sociopath. He's a sociopath who thinks that he will always get away with everything. Now, to his credit, so far he has. So he has a pretty good record of getting away with everything, committing crimes left and right in plain sight and getting away with it. And people still voting for him. So it's not an unreasonable thing. But not only did they, like JD Vance just recently told the podcaster, yeah, we got to release those files. The head of the FBA, Kash Patel, made his name as a podcaster
with Epstein.
With Epstein. Dan Bongino, like the meathead, like deputy director, who cried on Fox News that his job is so hard. He has to stay in the office till 7 p.m. at night every night. Ooh, it's so terrible. They put them in charge of the FBI. So what did you think was going to happen? So Gabe asks, like, could it be Epstein was a Mossad agent with CIA's tacit approval? That has been the conspiracy theory that's been out there a long time. The Mossad put out a statement, I think a couple weeks ago, saying he was not our spy. Now, of course, you can't really believe like Mossad or CIA.
The problem is, what else
the CIA never confirms or denies who the spy is. So
which is interesting. They actually don't confirm or deny. They would just not say anything. The fact that they actually said something is interesting.
Yeah. But So who the hell knows? I mean, one of the like maybe he made his money through arms dealings.
Yeah,
There's something that brought in a lot of money that was clearly not above board because otherwise there'd be a trace of it.
Right.
So what organized crime, whatever it is, there is something that is that.
And is Ghislaine the key? Is that where these things are being sent?
I forgot to ask John Stiles, who speaks fluent French, how to pronounce that damn name.
Yeah.
I've heard it every which way. Ghislaine.
Actually, just to break in real quick, the best thing I heard to kind of surmise who Epstein was, I guess, is that he came from nothing. His dad was a gardener in Central Park, right?
He was a teacher.
And then he was a teacher, and Barr's dad brought him into the elite circles, went to the stockbroking thing, whatever. But whatever the case, if you blackmail really rich people like that, if you didn't have backing of an intelligence network or a giant whether it's mafia, whether it's something like real muscle, he would have been killed immediately by one of these guys.
Yeah.
So that, to me, that was the most compelling thing about
there you go.
that.
Well, who knows? But what we do know is Congress is not at work.
Right. So they did leave early, but I don't think this thing goes away.
No.
I can't imagine that Congress, now they go home, the August recess is where they go back into their districts and they hear from the public. And if, we'll see how these polls hold, but I don't think they're going to hear less about this.
No, they're not going to hear less about this. And listen, I think there are a lot of good-hearted people who genuinely believed that there's like this massive network of child sex abusers, and this was a very real case of documented child sex abuse, with many witnesses, with a culprit who died in prison. But before he died in prison, he got a sweetheart deal that led to him not being prosecuted. That sweetheart deal, by the way, was negotiated by a former cabinet member of from Donald Trump's first term, Alberto something or other. Gabe, can you Google that?
What's that? The guy who got
the guy who negotiated.
Yeah, who got bumped up to be Attorney General.
Yes.
I know his name. Darn it! Hang on one second. I'll find it.
Gonzalez.
Is it Alberto Gonzalez?
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No,
it's no. That's another.
An O. I'm gonna find it.
All right, but anyway, so former Trump cabinet member when he was the U.S. attorney in Florida. And by the way, Pam Bondi was the Attorney General of Florida at the time. Which is what another thing was like, Pam, what were you thinking? Like you knew he was recruiting. We know for a fact because there's a lot of testimony of this that Ghislaine Maxwell recruited young girls. Guess from where? Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah. I watch this thing and I just can't
believe how stupid Democrats are.
Well, and,
like
also Republicans. I'm kind of like, what are you doing? Yeah. And you think this is also stuff that people can wrap their heads around, and people do get really angry about. Yeah. And it's just.
Well, and I think that there is a story for Democrats to tell next year about broken promises. They with regards to the big beautiful bill and all sorts of things, and this is a nice little bow in the narrative package here for people to talk about because it's a very clear. Everyone is on record, and
Alex Acosta. Sorry,
Alex Acosta. Thank you. Alberto Gonzalez was the other dude from Bush. Me confusing two Latinos is not racist, by the way. That was just honest confusion. Honest confusion.
He was told that Epstein belonged to intelligence, right?
Yes.
But he doesn't remember by who.
No,
it was someone in a dark suit, and we met in a parking garage.
That's actually possible.
Yeah,
you may not know.
God, Man,
It's something. Well,
it is.
we'll keep
it is
an eye on it.
We'll
I'm
keep an
sorry to
eye
get-
on it. And your government's at work. But
Yeah. Let's talk about, I cannot believe this. There's been so much news this week that it's very strange to me that this happened still since the last podcast, but because we've talked about it so much. So we finally have an end to the story that is Senator Nicole Mitchell, aka the alleged cat burglar, and now we can take that
no,
away.
it's no longer alleged.
Cat burglar.
Cat burglar.
Cat burglar. Just a quick synopsis. Woodbury DFLer who jumped in her car one night, dressed all in black, hair braided, black cap, flashlight in tow with a sock over it to, I don't know, cover the light, and drove 4 hours to Detroit Lakes to break into her stepmother's home. Her father had passed away some time ago. When she was originally she was crawling along the bed to her stepmother's bed when the poor woman, Carol Mitchell, her stepmom, woke up, tripped over her as she was running for the phone. We had the 911 call. We had the police report. We had where Nicole Mitchell tried to first say that she was coming to get her father's belongings, which then we all knew was a lie because the stepmother said, I gave you your father's ashes. I gave you the things you asked for. And she admitted in court that she lied about that. But then would have us all believe, like we are morons, that she was there for a wellness check on her stepmother who had been recently diagnosed with Alzheimer's. We went through the court case. The court it finally took place last week. It's been delayed and delayed based on her lawyers arguing that as her time as a state senator, which by the way, Woodbury, she didn't serve on committees. She didn't do anything. We could have gotten rid of her a year and a half ago. But finally the trial happened. The jury agreed. They found her guilty on both felony burglary and felony burglary tools. So she's got 2 felony convictions. She has finally agreed to step down, but not until August 4th. And so there will be a special election. I just think nothing new came out last week. And what is
the police cam.
right? You're right.
Was
You did
new.
get the
her on
cam.
tape saying I'm really bad at this.
right, which by the way was in the police report.
Yeah.
The police already told us that.
Yeah, but I want to say one thing too, because there's one
'Cause
thing
you're pretty hard on her.
one thing that I've heard some Democrats say is that this is really terrible, that this was a family thing, that the family should have resolved this before going to court. And listen, when I first heard about this and heard that, I thought, like, family things get really messy. Like
They do.
They do. Now, the difference here, and the thing that, like, one way that this could have stayed in the family is if she didn't plead innocent. If she had instead negotiated a plea with the
lesser charge
lesser
for a
charges
misdemeanor,
to say whatever, and then
breaking and
let the
entering or
family keep
something.
it quiet. But
Yep.
if you instead, lie about why you were there and what you were doing,
the police cam is unbelievable, by the way, if you haven't Googled it.
Yeah, it is.
Wearing the outfit is just like
and to everyone out there, if you ever find yourself putting on black pants, black shirt, and a cap, and you're looking like the damn Pink Panther, rethink your choices.
Here's the other things that tick me off. One, she should have been, the Senate could have expelled her a year and a half ago. Should have, but she was the 34th vote, which kind of grosses people out. It's icky. But also, the ickiest is that she used her stepmother's Alzheimer's, which now has been advanced even further, right? We're almost, a year and a half after the incident. And as people know, with family members that have Alzheimer's, it is sort of a slow loss of that person. It is a slow loss of that person. My father suffers from Alzheimer's. He's quite advanced, and it's very hard to watch your loved one pass. And the defense and Nicole Mitchell put her stepmother on the stand and asked her questions about like grandchildren's birthdays, obviously to show that somehow she was addled. And by the way, she did struggle. But she's been a year and a half since this happened because of all the delays that the defense put in place. And then they used her disease against her to try to prove that Nicole Mitchell was just being a kindly stepdaughter when she slid in through the window all dressed in black for her wellness check. It was the grossest display that I have seen. And the defense should be ashamed. Nicole Mitchell should be ashamed. We've never once gotten from her, I'm sorry. I screwed up. There has never been once any kind of statement of remorse from this person. Not one. Yeah. And that would, for me, go a long way. You know, you and I, we go through some scandals. We've been through some crap.
I mean, yours have been public. Mine, I've successfully kept quiet.
I wasn't even thinking about that. But anyway, the point is, like,
they would have been scandals.
I'm one that often goes, you know what? Lawmakers are human. They do make mistakes.
No,
you get DUIs.
Of course.
You like things get messy with family.
But the advice, if we had been advising the Senator Mitchell on this, if we had been advising her and the immediate aftermath, and we went by the rules that we taught when we taught a class on crisis communications. The first thing we would have advised the person to do is to tell us everything, and then once we know everything, get as much information out there and be absolutely contrite, and don't lie.
Yep.
Just don't lie, because this day and age, especially, whatever it is, it'll become known. And so, however embarrassing it is, let's just rip the Band-Aid off and get it out.
But she started this statement while she was right after she got out of jail. She put this wellness check idea out there that no one bought. We'd already known. We'd already heard the 911 call. We'd already seen the police report. And she would ask us to believe something that was just unbelievable. And then I thought they'd come in with something more to this case,
right?
Like an actual excuse, or an actual alibi, or an actual something. But they didn't. They just continued this dumb lie, right. And the jury agreed.
It is hilarious that she tried to forward that knowing there's body cam footage of her wearing burglar outfit.
That's
how we do wellness checks.
But that's all.
It's unbelievable. So, all right. So, let's talk about something sad. Also, this has been a year for the Minnesota legislature, and it just continues. So we've talked a lot about Nicole Mitchell. We talked about Justin Eichhorn, sex trafficking. We've talked about, what was that dude that lost his seat immediately after the election because he didn't live in his district? Curtis something. So there's been malfeasance where we've had special elections, and we're going to have special elections here. But there's also been some very, very, very sad losses. We've lost two incredibly powerful women leaders, one to cancer and one to cold-blooded murder.
An assassination.
Carrie Dietzich and Michelle and Melissa Hortman. But yesterday we got news of another loss, and it's a very personal one for me. Is Senator Bruce Anderson, and unlike those very wonderful, strong women leaders, Senator Anderson is probably not known to not all the people out there, and maybe even some people listening to the podcast, you political nerds, maybe don't know Bruce as well. Bruce is from Wright County. Bruce is from Buffalo. He's from my hometown. Bruce was my mentor. Bruce is the reason that I was elected. He and his then wife Dottie, Dottie passed away from cancer, and Bruce remarried his lovely wife Ruth. So he's had two beautiful loves in his life. But they worked tirelessly to support me in my first campaign. And even before that, when I was a volunteer for the local BPOU as the secretary, I learned so much from Bruce. Bruce was also the reason that Wright County, everybody always thinks Wright County is just this like dark red district and always has been. And it's just not true. Growing up and before Bruce, Bob McCarran, a Democrat, was the state rep. Betty Atkins, the Democrat, was a state senator, and Jerry Sikorsky, a Democrat, was our congressman. So it was really Bruce and others, Deb Stieskel, Mayor Kiffmeyer, that did really hard hand-to-hand combat local work to change heart and minds, door by door, phone call by phone call. We used to have weekly phone banks where we were IDing voters every week, all year long. in the BPOU, and it was the hard work of Bruce Anderson and others that did that, and that's really a legacy that continues in Wright County. He was a very quiet man, so that's why a lot of people don't know him. Didn't do a lot of media. He served for over 30 years. He was himself a National Guardsman, and was previously active duty. And so he was vets chair both in the House and in the Senate. And he was a stalwart champion of veterans, which is also an issue that doesn't get a lot of fanfare at the Capitol, but it didn't matter because it was what Bruce was about, his principles. And it's just a huge loss. He's a very quiet, dedicated public servant. That's how I would describe him. So I want to wish his family and send them, love and healing. And I say to my folks in Wright County, I'm sorry for our loss. He has been a champion for us for decades, and it will be felt. And I want to, I really want to highlight Bruce, because Bruce would never highlight himself. Right. And that's also what's so beautiful about him. And we could use 100 more Bruces at the Capitol.
So did he move up to the Senate after you resigned?
He did. So it was also strange, right? He was my mentor.
Right.
And he was in the House. He was my state rep, along with Tom Emmer. And then when I stepped down, then he was my successor, which is just kind of a strange turn of events. It was Amy Koch. It was Mark Arata, Amy Koch, Bruce Anderson, and now we'll have a new state senator. So this is the other thing too, like the special elections. So now we've had 3 deaths, we've had 3 malfeasance, 6 special elections. I've heard now the record is in a year 6. So one more, which is entirely possible because there are state reps that will likely step up for potentially for these Senate seats. Right. And then if one would win, like let's say Marion Rarick is a state rep from Buffalo, Maple Lake, actually, I think, technically. And if she stepped up, well, she's likely to win. She's the Republican. Well, now we have another special for that House seat. Right. So we could very easily pass the record for special elections. It's just been an unbelievable year for Minnesota legislature.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but rest in peace, Bruce.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah. So, before, do we have more on our list?
No. Well, just a couple quick announcements. We had some folks that are running.
Before we do that, I just want to talk a little bit about Minneapolis DFL.
Oh yes. Please cover the endorsing convention.
So if you read any news on this, it was shocking, surprising news. A convention. Whoa! Tim Walz, is that for real?
It is. It's in at least 2. It's in 2 things, or 2 news outlets, but this is not super credible. Black Hills. Here, let me look again, but I saw a couple.
So we're trying to confirm breaking
news. You continue with the Minneapolis endorsing convention.
Yeah, you look
this
up
is for
whether
mayor,
this is true.
And who was in it? It was
so there were 3 candidates. There were 4 candidates vying.
That's for the Senate seat, I think it's.
Jazz. I'm sorry. I look up his last name, and Dwayne Davis,
yep.
And Senator Omar Fateh, and incumbent Mayor Jacob Fry were vying for party endorsement. There was one ballot where Senator Fateh was leading significantly. Had a solid lead, and I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. But what ended up happening was that as often happens, I think the convention space there was a certain point when they had to leave, and so they This is like, not to make it all about me.
Yeah,
but the Fry campaign tried to pull. Remember what I did or our campaign
this the
did.
pizza situation?
So I got way too much credit and way too much blame for that situation. This was in 2012 when thank you, Shannon Watson. Is Jazz Hampton is the other candidate for mayor, there was a point at which the convention was going on forever. This is when Jacob Frey was challenging. No. Was this? This was not. No. This was not that election. This was.
Right.
This was when the first time Betsy ran.
Oh, okay.
And it was Mark Andrew was the sort of insider favorite, the party favorite. And so at a certain point, the convention was going on forever because these conventions always do, because they are like they're
painful.
And they're run by volunteers, but it's an archaic system. It's like it needs to be reformed. Everyone says that every time. But at one point we just decided that we would leave the convention so that the convention would no longer have quorum. And if the convention does not have quorum, there can't be an endorsement can't happen. So we did that. The Star Tribune reported that there was they made it sound like that we had a pizza party. We had 4 pizzas.
Okay.
There was not enough pizza for it was several
To
hundred
draw
people.
people out,
It was
right?
like it was like
To take people away
400
from the
people
convention.
left the convention because people were that sick of it it. You cannot convince 400 people to do something they don't want to do.
No.
En masse like that. But everyone left. But for years people would say that I was the cause of that. That I personally was the cause of that, which I was not. There were several of us, but I was just one of the ringleaders. But for today's purposes, I will take all that credit and say that I am the undisputed, undefeated champion of robbing quorum in Minneapolis conventions, because Mayor Frey's campaign tried to do that. But you can only do that if you are pretty certain about your numbers, people. You got to know how to count and know that you're actually going to rob quorum, because if all your supporters leave, but not enough people left,
they can still vote.
And you should have known you didn't have enough people there because you were behind in the balloting, so you couldn't. It's not just if one campaign leaves, there isn't quorum. Over half of people who were registered originally in the morning in the first credentials report need to leave and not be present for a quorum check. So they did a quorum check. There were plenty of people left for quorum,
but the Frey people had left.
The Frey people had left, and so then Omar Fatah who was leading was endorsed handily, right? So now Jacob Frey is whining to the party and trying to get the endorsement reversed. If Minneapolis, if you want to see someone who is being classy and staying out of the fray of the food fight between Frey and Fatah about the endorsement, read Dwayne Davis's statement yesterday about the convention. It was so classy, and just he's sort of not challenging it. They're hardworking people, put the convention on. He said there were problems here and there, whatever, but he's like, we're not going to be spending time fighting about the endorsement. We're going to be spending our time talking to Minneapolis voters. I will say to people.
So he's not. No one's abiding by the endorsement.
Everyone will go to that. Everyone's going on.
And last time around, Frey did not have the endorsement as well. Mayor Frey.
That
no, I don't think so. Did he block the endorsement?
No,
was there an endorsement?
No, there was no. There hasn't been an endorsement in the Minneapolis DFL for since Archie Ryback ran for re-election.
Okay, all right.
Second re-election.
That's when they endorse.
That's when
but other than that, they've never endorsed.
They don't reach endorsement. I mean,
they can never reach endorsement. Yeah. So
because
so will it? I really am asking this because Minneapolis politics is a mystery to me, and Minneapolis DFL politics. Is it going to matter? They're all running in the general anyway. Yeah. Is the endorsement going to be? It hasn't happened, so it's not like Minneapolis DFL are used to going. Whoa, who got the endorsement? Let me check. Is it going to matter, or does it give them enough of a leg up that this is a real race?
See, the party endorsement does can be of a lot of help in Minneapolis and in general, right? Just having, because, and like, it seems like everyone's paying attention to everything, but like, it's a tiny universe of people who are at that convention. Most people are not focused on the mayor's on the race at all. And if there's a DFL sample ballot, and which are likely will be, if the candidate raises enough money to have a sample ballot, there will be one. And so people will get something in the mail saying this is the Democratic candidate, right?
Okay.
So it does, I think, give you a leg up. This is why the mayor's people are fighting it. But it's also, the city changed its way of voting now many years ago, like the ranked choice voting. But we still, I like it, and we still run our campaigns as if we did not have that. Like, I think what the party convention should do is sort of give people their seal of approval, and give 2 people a seal of approval, or 3 people, or whatever, and then let them talk to the voters. That would do more good, I think, for the party.
And the election will be this November.
Yeah, but I'll say to anyone who cares my opinion, I think Dwayne Davis is an excellent candidate. He's a good man. He is a preacher. He is a former. He has worked in Congress as an aide at a senior level. He's really great. Nothing. I'm not. No shade to any of the other candidates. I strongly suggest you do research and rank folks. It's no surprise to anyone that I would not rank Mayor Fry, but do your research. But as far as I'm concerned, I have one candidate. That's Dwayne Davis. So check him out.
Republicans, they're all liberals. So sorry, it's Minneapolis.
So
do your best to, I don't know.
So the thing,
good luck.
So sorry, listeners, for the shock. Like, our producer put up a headline that sounded like that looked like it was saying that Governor Walz is not going to run for re-election, but what the news seems to be is that Minnesota Governor Walz says he won't run for president in 2028 if he seeks a 3rd term as governor next year.
Yeah.
That
to me sounds like maybe he's not running for governor. I know it's sort of made to sound like he's not running for president, but I feel like it's setting up for like, okay, so I'm saying it's one or the other. I have to choose. And if I think he might choose president.
I think so too.
You do too.
I do.
Okay, well, we're going to see if
I
we're
agree
right.
with you. I think that's. I like.
He's just his
I
national
have
profile.
no special knowledge.
He's really been working his national profile.
And he he enjoys his time outside of the state. If he has, like, people who think that they are presidential material don't often change their minds, right? You just say, and it's an ambition, and you don't have many shots at it.
No.
And so if he's gonna take a shot at it, this would be he's of an age that this would be the time to do it.
And his profile is of a certain
right. So
that he's not going to see again potentially. Right. If he runs for governor in 2026, let's say he wins. Well, if he loses, even worse.
Yeah.
But let's say he wins. Okay, well now it's 2030. So then you're talking 2032.
Right. No.
Like this is this is kind of it.
Then at that we have a Joe Biden problem.
Right.
Right. So no, I don't, like, no special knowledge. I want to be very clear about that. But I think you're. If I had to put money on it, I would.
It's weird,
I think it's maybe a sign of that. It makes it sound like he's running for governor, but I think it might. I think we might. Let me just say, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the opposite.
Republicans, you could have an empty seat, an open seat. Maybe we should find someone good. Scott Jensen announced again that he's running.
Maybe you want to repeat that? Maybe you should find someone good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, folks. Let's find a strong governor's candidate, please, and not folks that have run and lost by 8 points. Sorry, Dr. Jensen, this is not your race to run.
Sorry, Jeff Johnson.
Sorry, Jeff Johnson. Sorry, let's find a really strong candidate. We've got good candidates. We've got the best opportunity we've had in a very, very long time to win statewide. Come on. Folks, step up. Let's start raising. You got to start soon. We got to start raising money. This is an opportunity. But that is news.
In reference to what we were saying yesterday about party conventions, I think the problem you have is that
100%
is that the party faithful can be in your party can be counted on nominating someone who does not have statewide appeal to the broader electorate.
Like almost a third of them in the last go around for governor were voting for the mayor of Lexington, Minnesota. Mike
Shannon Watson is saying, like, maybe somebody who has electoral experience in the legislature and is now a podcaster. So, Shannon, I thought you liked Amy. Right. Why are you wishing this on her?
Right. No. I'm so happy. Thank you, Shannon. I love what I'm doing.
She's getting married. She's fine. Leave her alone.
Javier and I are going to my cabin.
Yeah, if they ever give me the address.
We will.
Yeah, sure. Eventually.
She's got to manage Clint. Let
Also,
alone.
an announcement in the CD2 race. So Congressional District 2 likely to be an open seat. Angie Craig is running for U.S. Senate. Has she said that if she doesn't win the primary, would she run for her seat again? I don't know, because there's a primary
I don't think she
between
can.
her
I
and
don't
Peggy
think.
Flanagan.
I don't think she can. You know, I mean, she
late?
could do it. It would be too late, the primary, because that would be the same time as primary for Congress.
And let's bring this up.
It would have to be party endorsement, and I don't think she would.
Can we please move our primary up to a normal time? This August primary is the dumbest thing. It makes Minnesota irrelevant. It's really dumb. Can we make that some sort of platform issue, or where are you on that? Late primaries are
I
silly.
completely agree. Completely agree.
Then let's vote because Brian's not here.
Yeah.
We should do a March primary. Minnesota, get your butt together and do just across the board March primaries. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It is a wrong about all opposed. Nobody. It is a wrong about everything platform to get that primary moved. It's ridiculous how late it is. Also announced, but anyway, so in that race already announced is State Senator Matt Klein is running on the DFL side. Is there anybody else in
Matt
the
Little?
Matt Little, right?
Little.
Former mayor and also state senator from
Senator.
Lakeville for the Democrats. So you got two Matts. The DFL has the Matt caucus running. And then Senator Eric Pratt from the Shakopee area, from Scott County, has announced that he will step in for the Republican race. So that is an open seat. That's going to be an interesting race.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I also believe... I think who ran before a couple times and lost, Tyler Kistner, is also in that race for the Republicans. So I think the Republicans have a couple and the Democrats have a couple. But
There you go.
But a big announcement from Senator Eric Pratt in that race. So, all right.
Before we move on
we
to
gotta get
plugs,
to- we have-
you guys, we have 3 new members of the most exclusive talent club in town. Benjamin Cooper and Elizabeth Stirk and Eric. All
Just Eric?
3 of you.
It's like Cher. He's just Eric.
He's just Eric. All 3 of you, we thank you very much for pitching in and becoming members of the Not a Dick Club. Because here's this thing, and if you're listening to this podcast for the first time, you will hear me say this, and I will say I was not being abusive for a while, and we got no
nothing, and then you
no new
started being
patrons, and then I
sassy.
started being sassy again, and this is
I
you're
think
confirming.
Minnesotans kind of like it.
Oh,
They
no.
like it.
It's like Minnesotans.
They like it.
I've seen this at the Moth. Like Minnesotans like it when I treat you badly. I don't know why you make me do it, but you make me do it. So
They do. They like it.
So here we go. If you're listening to this podcast and you can afford it, only if you can afford it. If you're listening to the podcast and you can afford it, and you're enjoying it, and you're not throwing a few bucks away, you're kind of being a dick, right?
Yep.
So don't be a dick. Patreon.com/wrongaboutEverything-podcast. Thank you, Benjamin, Eric, Elizabeth, for your support. We deeply appreciate it.
Awesome.
And I will plug. I'm going to be on
Plugs, yeah.
Almanac on Friday.
Yoo-hoo! I'm sorry I was on last week, so I'll miss you.
Oh,
But
damn.
all right. Do you know who's on with you?
They haven't told me yet.
Oh, okay. But who does it matter? It'll be you.
Yeah, it'll be me. Probably Annette Meeks. I'm guessing.
Okay.
Are you wearing the bow tie again?
Probably.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
It looks
probably.
good.
Unless I wear a guayabera, but probably. But
What was the last thing?
just
Okay.
shut up.
Okay.
Guayabera is a dress shirt from the Caribbean that is a formal attire, but it's a long sleeve shirt with that has stitching. On
Oh
the
yeah,
front.
yeah. I know exactly.
yeah,
I would
yeah.
love. Oh my gosh, Eric Eskel is going to be so jealous.
Yes. Yeah.
I know he listens to the podcast. He's going to know what's coming.
Yes. Yes.
Oh no, he's going to have to up this game again. He's so excited about you got caught up with you on the socks.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
all right.
Well, come for the socks, stay for the guayabera.
Yeah, way better.
Are you plugging anything?
So I've been doing a lot of media this week. Let's see, I did interview with Channel 4 and NPR yesterday. I'm talking about special elections and all the things that we've talked about. You can catch me on Channel 11 tonight, as well as I'll be on Friday. I will be a segment on TPT Almanac. I did an interview with Mary LaHammer today, Pioneer Press, Star Tribune. And I did Al Jazeera today. I talked with Al Jazeera on, it's called Inside Story. And we talked about Trump's pulling out of UNESCO, another move on the international front to pull us out of I think UNESCO was not a helpful place for us to be. But, so you can catch me on Al Jazeera. There's a podcast also, Al Jazeera English. So,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Shall we go with
Thanks.
thanks?
Sure.
Yep.
So for my thank, I have an apology to MAGA.
This feels like a thank.
It's a thank. It's a thank. It's a genuine thank. I have an apology to MAGA. Listen, I admit that this whole Epstein thing is one of these things that because you guys were obsessed with it, I thought that can't be a thing. It's unimportant. Didn't pay much attention to it. I remember at the time when Epstein died, we talked about it on the show, and it seemed very, very weird circumstances. But I thought part of the thing was that the whole conspiracy that this is somehow like all about Democrats when he died in prison while Donald Trump was president just didn't make sense. And so I for whatever reason, I discounted it. You know what? You're right. I was wrong.
No.
But there's this other thing that has happened over the years since 2015 when Donald Trump came on the scene, that whenever I argue or I see any sort of liberal arguing on social media with a Trumper and we see you kind of changing positions to fit whatever Donald Trump said or not caring when he is bombastic or whatever, we'd say things like, well, you belong to a cult. And it was a nice set out of frustration, honestly. And it doesn't convince anyone. That's not persuasive, but it felt good to say. But here's the thing. You all have a perfect opportunity to prove me wrong. Because I will tell you right now that whether it's Bill Clinton or any Democrat who is shown to be, from the documents, someone who participated in the lurid and illegal activities that Epstein is known to have partaken in, frog march them into prison. Frog march them into prison. I don't care who it is. Go ahead. Now, your turn. Say the same thing. If Donald Trump is shown to have participated in the lurid and illegal activities that Jeffrey Epstein is known to have participated in, frog march him into prison, right, guys? Right? Because you're not a cult. Because your obsession with this was surely real, and you meant it, and I believe you did. So that would be, let's follow it to its logical conclusion. Whatever it is, let it be known. Ball's in your court.
Wow.
Yeah.
Message to MAGA. All right.
And
Spank.
My what was my?
You were gonna do Colbert.
Oh, right.
And I'm gonna do
that's
the
right.
opposite.
Here's the thing about the whole thing with Colbert, is I'm genuinely surprised by how blatant the media, certain aspects of the media, ABC settled a bullshit lawsuit with Donald Trump. CBS News, CBS is just losing all its credibility. And now CBS canceled not just Colbert, but late night altogether. And the excuse is that it is that it's losing money. And here's the thing is, right, that broadcast TV is in a different moment, and all that is true. But that show is the most popular of its time slot of the late night shows, and has brought in hundreds of millions of dollars to CBS. And it's clear that they're just bending to the knee to the autocrat, to the would-be autocrat. And that is actually genuinely terrifying, because for a right that complained for years about being silenced and about freedom of the press being under attack. Now, and what did Donald Trump say? He said, "Next, Jimmy Kimmel." Think about how you would feel it's on the other side. This is literally freedom of the press, because whatever you think about what Stephen Colbert says, he has a right to say it. And but now we have apparently government-controlled media, all the things that supposedly the right feared. So. These are scary times, and the media and institutions like Columbia University and big law firms all bending the knee to the president are another sign of the danger that this country that used to be called a democracy is in. That's my spank.
Well, my spank is the opposite, because I think that this, like the sort of sturm und drang about this is overstated. CBS made clear that they were losing $40 to $50 million a year on the show. It was an incredibly expensive show to make. I also think that, I used to enjoy Colbert. He used to have a Comedy Central show, and where it was really true satire. He played a character where he was sort of a conservative Bill O'Reilly type of host. And it was a really kind of smart, funny way. And he has sort of moved into this, where, like, even his response to this, I get it. He was upset. It was very dramatic, but also, like, he had a couple days before his show where he could respond, and he has, all these comedy writers that write for him. He's a longtime comedy genius himself, going back to Second City, and his response was to Donald Trump was like, "Go F yourself," and I just thought, like, you couldn't come up with something funnier, and I feel like that's a bit where that show has gone. It has become not that entertaining, and I think that's why it was losing money. And I think back to Tucker Carlson. Remember, Tucker Carlson got fired from Fox. Also, no one protesting Tucker Carlson getting fired, but he had a tremendous, one of the most popular show on Fox. And Roger and they removed him, and it was just like, that's. It's a tough business, and that's the market. And I just think people are overstating the meaning behind this. So
I just say, why would you believe what they say when this is the same people who just paid hush money to them on the this is about the merger, and to me it's all fine. But if it were not this, it wouldn't have been a surprise.
Well, and of course, Trump celebrated it because he's been super critical. Right. Even Keith Olbermann, who is not a Trump fan, said that's not what this is, folks. It's not a political zest. It was not a political move to fire Colbert. So, anyway, again, you're never going to catch me quoting Keith Olbermann in any kind of positive way, but there you go. My other thing.
You listen to his podcast? You listen to the Olbermann podcast?
Sometimes. You never know. All right. So the other spank, I have double spank, which I usually am pretty positive and have a spank and a thank. But the U.S. Attorney, Joe Thompson for Minnesota, that's told 5 Eyewitness News this week that his office has prosecuted $500 million over the past couple of years, and that he believes the scope of the fraud from the past couple of years will go over $1 billion before they are done. He called, and I want to get this quote exactly. It's an extraordinary problem, the fraud that's pervasive in this state. That's the U.S. Attorney to the Minnesota District that's saying that. Minnesota legislature, Governor Walz, you have got to get this under control. It is taxpayer money flying out the door fraudulently. It is hurting. By the way, it's coming from programs that are intended for people that actually need help. The theft is being taken from the poorest of the poor from programs that were meant to feed children, that were meant to house the homeless. It is the most unconscionable, gross, thing ever. The theft that is going on here, and that is got to be gotten under control. So that's my other thank, or my spank is to get that together. Over $1 billion, according to the U.S. Attorney, and counting. And with that,
With that,
I am, I guess, pretty fired up about things, but definitely not on Epstein's list. Amy Koch.
I am like apologizing to MAGA these days.
I kind of loved that moment.
Javier Murillo.
And we are
Wrong about everything.
Take it away.
Capture Adam Silver.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah, that was a lovely moment.
conservatives
And I
shut down
liked
the House floor routinely. You saw that you had to pull the rule because of